Welcome to the Jada Willis Experience. We're here to help leaders build businesses and teams without sacrificing themselves. Thank you for tuning in. So today I want to talk about the permission to pivot. And I want to talk about this topic for two reasons. The first thing is for high achievers and those folks that are also more type A, you put a lot of pressure on yourself to follow through with your original plan. And if you put the effort into your strategic initiatives or even your daily planning of what should get done, who should you pick up from school, or what time of day you should be doing X, Y, and Z, you are expecting yourself to follow the plan. Follow the original path that you have set forth whenever you were maybe a different version of yourself the night before, that Sunday, whenever you did actually the planning for the week. You are expecting yourself to follow everything that person that day in that moment had planned. I bet you're also eating a really healthy salad or like a juice at the time as well. And then the second reason is more so of sometimes other people put a lot of pressure and judgment on you if you do not do the thing exactly right. Do the thing that you said you were going to do, maybe for your life or that career goal or that major, that degree that you wanted to acquire. Whatever that is, and people are questioning you and saying, what are you doing? That's not what you said you were going to do. And then you feel like, I don't want to disappoint them. You're right. I should just follow through with my original plan, so on and so forth. And I am here to tell you, and this is giving you permission to pivot. And okay, so I do have a couple things that I ask myself whenever it is time to pivot, but I do want to give this disclaimer that every business owner, every CEO, every entrepreneur, we pivot constantly, and we have to. Yes, you have to spend the time working out the strategic plans and even setting goals, backing that off and actually dividing it into task lists and getting things done. And this isn't a carte blanche permission to quit the things that you just don't feel like doing. No, that's a totally different topic entirely. But it is a white flag. It's actually a really smart white flag on if something just isn't working for you, you have given all and that you got, and it's the smarter option. It's the best option to go into a different direction. But like I was saying, entrepreneurs, CEOs, parents pivot constantly because we actually do not have control of life. I know that's crazy. And for a control enthusiast like myself, that is not good news. And I do not even like sharing that with you right now. But control is an illusion, right? And whenever we, maybe even myself, try to hold on to things to go exactly the way that we planned, what we're actually searching for is a sense of security and a sense of safety and reassurance. But one of the true gifts in life is if you are able to master the ability to pivot, because your day will not go as planned. And especially if there are people involved, and if it depends on someone's behavior, someone actually completing something else, you can't control that person. So you definitely cannot control the outcome of that situation. So pivoting is a gift. If you have the ability to adapt and really just analyze the situation in the moment and then pick the new path. But thankfully, you may have the opportunity to just self-reflect and look at, in this current moment, is this situation working for me? And it doesn't have to be an on-the-spot decision. It may be something, and let's take an example, your current career, your current job. And maybe there's just that gnawing feeling inside of you that you're destined for more. And you dread going to work every day. And you just really struggle with trying to get yourself in the groove and to accomplish and be productive. And you actually get the feeling that you want to run away from the work that you're doing. All right, maybe that's extreme, or maybe you're absolutely like, this is on point. This is exactly me. But either way, you start having those little red flags. You start having those little pieces inside of you that are pushing you to make a different choice. and to make a change. And so there are some questions that I even ask myself as I am evaluating, because I tend to hold on to things, to people, and projects longer than I should. Doesn't mean all of them out there, but I want to make sure I've given it everything I got. And then when I'm really committed to something, I'm really committed. So I want to make sure that I've really emptied my tank. I've really shown up, and I try to follow through on the things that I'm absolutely committed to, the things that I said that I really wanted. I try to show up and give it my absolute best, but sometimes it's just no longer serving me or the person involved, or it's actually a market demand. Maybe, the climate, the labor market has changed. Maybe, from a business perspective, your customers or your clients need something different. And there's a requirement from you to open your mind and to pivot, and it's time. So I asked myself a few different questions. I refer to my piece of paper here just to remind me. But so I do like to ask myself, in this situation, if I'm thinking about quote unquote quitting or pivoting, and we can totally unwrap the quitting piece in just a moment. But if I'm thinking about changing direction and I'm thinking about doing something differently, and in essence, you will have to quit one thing. So there will be a sacrifice there. I ask myself the question, am I doing myself or others a disservice? Am I doing myself or others a disservice? And that means that same example I used about that person that maybe this message resonates with, and it's their job, it's their career, where you're dreading it. It's a struggle to be productive, and, you're having those sort of issues, and you know that you should be in another job. Really? It's the answer to this question is both. You're doing a disservice to yourself, but also it's to others. It could be the team members around you that maybe have to fill in on the work, or maybe it's your clients. But somehow, whenever you've lost really that spark and that energy, things do slip. And it may not feel like, you may feel like you're absolutely on top of it, but really someone notices, someone is impacted, right? And so that is a really good reason to start thinking about pivoting so that you can show up fully, whether it's, again, a client, a project, a team member. You can, for yourself, you can show up fully, and honestly, you are more fulfilled. So that's one of the questions that I tend to ask myself whenever I am ready to pivot. Now, I did mention about the quitting thing, right? And that's something that I had to get past, because it feels like you're just quitting. There's such a stigma attached to that. Quitters never win. And that doesn't feel good. I want to be a winner. I am a winner. So I think we reframe that. We need to reframe that a good bit. And the reframing is, it's okay to quit the things that no longer serve us. It's okay to quit the things that aren't in our best interest. And that's okay. I mean, honestly, think about all the things that you've had to quote unquote quit in order to reach for that next goal, in order to reach for that next big idea, or even that new relationship. There are things that we have to adjust and give up maybe in the immediate short term, in order to get that thing that we're growing into and that is meant for us. Now, I really believe that also there's a season. There is a season to everything. And obviously, whenever it comes to, my career or partner, you always wish the season lasts forever. It's as long as it is a win-win, and it's a mutually beneficial thing on both sides. And so that's for you to continue to resonate and continue to think about, where are you and what is kind of pulling at you? And that leads me to my next question that I ask myself. And it sounds a little redundant, and it actually comes from a song. I'm not even going to say the song. I don't want to lead you down that road, but I listened to this years ago, and I've just applied it to my life. And it is, are there questions in the silence? Are there questions in the silence? So let's break down what that means. So whenever you do have that quiet time, maybe it's in the morning over some coffee, or at night whenever you're really just winding down, thinking about your day. And whenever you're thinking about that project, that career, that thing you want in life, or whatever you're going through, what are the questions? What are the questions that come up for you? Am I right for this? Is this the right thing for me? How long should I be doing this? I mean, there are so many questions that can come up, and it doesn't mean that questions are a bad thing. I think that questions will lead you to your very own answers to the truth. So, are there questions in the silence? And whenever you look at those questions, dig into how often are they occurring? Do they have a negative spin? And is there something inside of you that's aching to say, I'm just really not fulfilled. I'm not satisfied. And I know that I deserve more. And that's okay, because we're giving you permission to pivot. And that's okay. I don't want everyone running out to also start their small business and not have a plan in place. Whenever I say permission to pivot, that doesn't mean you just press go and you stop doing the thing that's in front of you. You stop doing that thing. No, I'm giving you permission to pivot, to create the plan to take you to the next step of where you want to go, that next path for you. But, if it is a relationship, please, I'm giving you permission to pivot, but that doesn't mean that you pack up your things and leave. So please don't take this as any type of relationship advice. I'm not a mental health counselor. I'm not a relationship expert, all those pieces. What it should be is a aha moment for you. What it should be is a fire in your belly that says, all right, this is the sign I needed. I need to do something a little bit different. And that's okay. Because I think it's just so much pressure to all of us in society to do things a certain way, to compare ourselves to what we're seeing, from our friends and family and whoever else on social media. And my hope for all of us is to show up more fully and authentically so that we can have a healthier, happier life. Now, these episodes are more geared towards CEOs, business owners, but this is applicable across the board. And I really think that most of these topics that we talk about are going to be applicable. So, all right. So a couple other things. And I think I mentioned this a little bit earlier too. It's, have I emptied my tank? Now, what does that mean, emptied my tank? That means that, how much effort have you actually put in to this thing? So whether it is your job, whether it's a relationship, whatever, maybe your business, how much effort have I been putting in? And be honest with yourself. Stop yourself and say, all right, have I really given it everything I got? And if I haven't, then why? Why am I not fully showing up? Or is this just a complete rationale that I know I need to step and turn? And again, that's okay. But it's not okay if you've been pivoting everything consistently after just a short period of time. You may be a quitter. It actually may be a root of some larger issues. I'm not saying commitment issues, but it could be larger issues of fear and self-worth and integrity issues. And, that's for you to work through and decide. But this is not just an invitation to quit or keep pivoting. I want you to stick to something. Hard work is amazing. Hard work it's the grind that you really discover yourself, and you learn so much about others and your own individual gifts and who you are in the world. So I love it whenever, something actually is hard and you're giving and you're showing up fully, but there is also a time whenever something has served its purpose for you and you've learned everything that you could, and it's actually a good stepping tool to what's next in your life. And I'm going to keep saying it, and that's okay. I'm giving you the permission to pivot. And I was thinking about my day as I'm, recording this, and I'm like, I've pivoted 1,000 different ways. I mean, even whenever we're looking at our to-do list, you don't follow a systematic approach of doing everything back to back. I mean, you could get really, really close, but I bet you're interrupted. I bet you get that unexpected, unscheduled call or that email or something happens. And that's a small way of pivoting, but it's okay to also have dreams and goals And then you have that, you've created a vision board, right? Well, what about a year from now if you have new dreams and a new vision for your life? So I just want to show up for everyone. I have given myself the permission to pivot, and I'm hoping that I can even serve as an inspiration to others that really want to make some changes in their life. And it doesn't mean that change is easy. It doesn't mean that the grass is always greener on the other side. It means that this is an opportunity for me to seek out the thing that I really want. And again, whether it's job, career, relationship, whatever that is for you, then find your pivot point and really start looking at, how do I need to show up for this next thing in my life? But it doesn't mean that you start being a crappy person today. It doesn't mean that if you're in that, so let's use the scenario of your current job and you still have to work, right? Bare minimum, give a 2-week notice, but you still have to be there. You're still showing up for this position and you haven't created your plan yet. That doesn't mean that you're showing up late. It doesn't mean, no, guess what? Let the fact that you know that you're about to pivot whenever the time is right, whenever you've followed through with your plan, let that serve as actually an energizer for you. Lead with integrity, show up and be your best self in your final days of whatever that last thing is of that season that you're showing up for. And then from there, you can feel like you've also been able to close that chapter. You've been able to live from a place of self-integrity. And that is such a good feeling to have. And I'm thinking about so many different things, even from a marketing perspective with my new business, Jada Willis Consulting, and how my original plan has shifted a little bit. But it's shifted also with more information, more expert advice. And guess what? You can't just stick and say, I'm going to do this because that was my original plan. Well, guess what? My original plan sucked. And that's okay. I'm going to make sure that I do the things that I feel in my gut and spirit that are important to do, get expert advice, and then keep showing up and doing what I feel, showing up in my gift and showing up for people. That's all we can do. And that should be a driver to keep pivoting and keep learning and keep growing, because growing is all about the pivot points. And I think we should make that a social media tag. All right. So this was a good conversation today. It may have been with myself, but I know that you're listening. I know that you're watching. And so this is what I want you to do. Share this with a friend that may have some interest. It may resonate with them, but also like, subscribe, follow, do all the things. We're growing something here. And I know that we are going to help the masses. We are going to help CEOs, entrepreneurs, leaders, and anyone in between. I don't think this should be about titles. I think this should be about high achievers, living with purpose, game changers, trailblazers, all that included. So thank you so much for tuning in. Check out our other episodes. And thank you for tuning in to the Jada Willis Experience.